Multi-Toolhead 3D printers are the hot trend in 3D printing right now, and for good reason. They eliminate a ton of waste when printing in multiple colors and have the ability to print with multiple materials in the same printed part. As more of these machines roll out, it's interesting to see how different companies approach this new style of 3D printer. This is the Creator 5 Pro from FlashForge. Now, FlashForge has two versions of the Creator 5, a Pro and non-Pro. Let's look at the differences. At launch, the Creator 5 came in at $699 US, while the Pro model was $150 more at $849. The non-Pro Creator 5 is an open frame design similar to the Bambu Lab P1. So it's not really intended for engineering grade materials like ABS, ASA, nylon, or carbon fiber filled filaments. The Pro model is fully enclosed with a top cover and features HEPA and activated carbon filtration, active chamber heating up to a claimed 65 degrees Celsius, and an airflow system that can either heat or cool the chamber depending on the material you're printing. As of right now, there's no official upgrade path to add these features to the non-Pro model, at least at the time of filming. So if you see yourself doing any sort of ABS or ASA printing, I'd definitely spend the extra $150 here. Okay, some basic specs. Build volume is 256mm cubed. There's 4 independent removable tool heads. It's a Core XY machine with a maximum travel speed of 600mm per second and a rated print speed of up to 300mm per second. The tool head's attached to the carriage using alignment balls and what appears to be a compression-style locking collar, very similar to what you'd find on a CNC tool changer. It also appears to use a very similar automatic tool head alignment system to what we've seen on the Snapmaker U1. And the bed probing system is mounted directly to the toolhead carriage. One really nice feature is that every toolhead is automatically calibrated, so you don't have to manually adjust nozzle offsets if you replace or service one of the toolheads. The printer also appears to be based on Clipper, although I could never connect directly to a hosted interface like Fluid or Mainsail, so editing deeper configuration files seems to be a no-go here. For slicing, FlashForge ships their own version of Orca Slicer called FlashForge Studio Desktop, along with a mobile app for remote monitoring and management. They've also integrated a cloud system similar to Bambu Lab where you bind your printer to your account for remote access. Let's run a couple prints. Included with the machine was some cyan, magenta, yellow, and white PLA samples, so I was really hoping for a cool benchy, but the G-code on the machine was just a color change at Z-height model. Still, this verifies our tool heads are properly aligned and we can move on to some more challenging prints. Up first is this 4-color tree frog from Prusa Research. I printed this one at 0.2mm layer height using 4 matte PLA colors. The result is good, and as expected, there's just a single prime tower for waste. One cool thing is that I didn't have to prop any lids or doors open for this print to come out successfully. The chamber airflow system vented enough heat that the PLA never softened during long prints, while still keeping the printer much less affected by room temperature changes. So whether you've got a window open, or the air conditioner running, or a heater going in the winter, your prints are much more isolated from those changes. I wanted to see the difference between the quality presets, so I printed it again at 0.12mm layer height. This one turned out great as well, with a slightly longer print time of around 12 hours. And you can really see the extra detail in the top surfaces here. Next, I designed a phone case that uses both PETG and TPU. This was a short 3-hour print with minimal purging, and it turned out great. This type of multi-material printing is really the killer app for all these new multi-toolhead printers. Finally, I wanted to put the chamber heater to work, so I loaded up some ABS filament and printed some bracket parts for a wind turbine project I'm working on. These printed great, no warping, and super solid layer adhesion. FlashForge claims an internal chamber temperature of up to 65 degrees Celsius. And looking at the exterior temperatures I measured with my thermal camera, that claim certainly seems believable. One thing I noticed though was the smell. There was noticeably more of that nasty ABS odor in my workshop during this print compared to when I printed ABS on my Snapmaker U1. In my experience, the filter here feels a little undersized, but you could always vent the exhaust outside if you're planning on printing mostly ABS. Let's talk about some of the issues I've had. When I first received the machine, nozzle priming happened at the front right corner of the printer, and since the door is polycarbonate, purged filament would stick to it. There's also a fan intake in this area where some of the purge material would pile up. I never had an actual problem with this, but it definitely looked like a recipe for disaster. Now, FlashForge quickly pushed a firmware update that moved the purge location to the back right corner of the bed, and they also released this printable purge bin. I printed mine in PETG and lined the first 1.5 inches with foil tape to encourage the purge material to pile neatly at the bottom of the bin. It mounts using double-sided tape and easy to remove for cleaning. The purge material is still fairly long and stringy since there's no mechanism that stacks it neatly like some competing machines. That makes it a little harder to manage, but this printer also doesn't purge very much, so it's not a huge issue. There's no automated material loading like on the Snapmaker U1. You have to manually feed the filament through the entire PTFE tube before pressing the idler and feeding it into each individual extruder. You also have to select each tool head separately, so if you're changing all 4 rolls of filament, expect to spend around 10 minutes standing here. Unloading is a little easier, but you'll still have to reach into the machine and manually press the cutter lever on each tool head before pulling the filament out. It feels a little strange to me that they included a filament cutter in each tool head instead of implementing a fully automated unload sequence. Having all 4 filament spools on the right side of the machine is actually pretty convenient, although one spool does partially block one of the ventilation fans. Still, this layout would work really well for a 4-bay filament dryer or dry box. The webcam is technically 720p, but the image quality leaves quite a bit to be desired. And as you've seen from the time lapses throughout this video, a good portion of the image is also blocked by this gantry. As someone who really enjoys making time lapses, this feels like a bit of an afterthought. There's also no access door on the top cover, so if you need to perform any maintenance on the tool heads, you'll have to remove the entire top cover. Luckily, Mike over at Mike's Questlog has already designed a really nice hinge for the top cover of this machine. You do have to drill a couple holes to install it. but it's definitely worth the hassle. I'll leave a link to this in the description. One final complaint here. They absolutely turned the jiggle physics of this machine up to 11. The rubber feet on this thing are so soft that the entire printer rocks back and forth, even on my workbench that's lag bolted into half a dozen studs. Fortunately, the input shaping does a really good job of eliminating most of the ringing, but personally I'd probably print a set of stiffer TPU feet and rerun the resonance calibration for long-term use. Overall, lots of these little issues can and probably will be improved over time as the firmware continues to mature. And I think there's a lot of potential for this to become a really awesome multi-tool head printer. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments and I'll do my best to answer them. Special thanks to FlashForge for sending this machine over for me to take a look at. I'll leave a link in the description if you'd like to learn more. As always, thanks for watching and happy printing.